So a slightly different setup today. I'm actually waiting for an appointment. But I wanted to film this. Um, I had an early morning Zoom with somebody in the States today, and they voiced a concern, which I'm hearing echoed in a huge number of conversations, that it seems that people are having to apply for a lot more jobs than ever before, before they get a response. And the numbers kind of bear this out. I mean, we hear about there's a decline in the job market, but the numbers do somewhat support this. The last stats I saw from the U.S. Bureau of Labor was in July, 175,000 jobs were supposed to be added to the economy, but only 114,000 were posted. And the big sectors impacted by this are manufacturing, retail, and hospitality. I think obviously since COVID, people have changed their travel habits, with e-commerce companies like Amazon. We're doing a whole lot more shopping online, and we're doing a lot less shopping at bricks and mortar stores. So there is most definitely a lot less jobs, and I think we've seen at least pre-COVID, and the groups that seem to be affected the most are entry-level workers and people with less experience. So what's the best way to handle this? How do you navigate this weak job market? Um, I think there's a few things that somebody, if you're working or if you're currently looking, that you can do to position yourself just to add a little bit more strength to your overall candidacy. Some of the growth sectors today are seen as being technology, healthcare, green energy, and e-commerce, all different jobs within the e-commerce logistics sector. So, but what if you don't have the skills that they're looking for in those areas? I think it largely comes down to how you position yourself, how you position your resume. Um, do you focus solely on skills that are applicable to the field that you've been working in, or do you concentrate more on transferable skills? So I'm working with somebody right now who has been laid off from being a dental hygienist, and she wants to transition to becoming a flight attendant. So in having a conversation with her, there's a huge number of transferable skills that I think would interest a company hiring entry-level flight attendants: customer service, regulatory compliance, following procedures, taking care of patients who are stressed and anxious. So I think somehow focusing on those in a resume to transfer or to transition into the new field, I think is the approach to take in that respect. Um, One thing I'm really trying to help people with now, and this applies whether or not you're unemployed or if you're currently working, is to really start to build a personal brand from a professional perspective. So, I'm talking specifically the resume and LinkedIn. So revamp your LinkedIn, keep it very, very current. Take content from your resume and import it over to your LinkedIn. So you're creating almost a standardized message and a brand consistency. While LinkedIn, there's a lot of negative talk about whether or not LinkedIn is actually good for job seeking. Um, the truth is that 50% of candidates are being found by recruiters on LinkedIn, active candidates and passive candidates. So it definitely is still a very, I think, a must-have platform if you're looking at building a personal brand, and if you're looking at becoming visible to recruiters. So reposition your resume, refocus your resume, clean it up, and then address, how your LinkedIn is appearing to recruiters, hiring managers. But in terms of transitioning to a new field, uh, it is difficult in many cases to say, I'm going back to school for 4 years to completely retrain. But there's a wealth of training opportunities that I think, courses, certificate programs you can take to beef up a resume to start leaning into the new industry. If you haven't already, Coursera, LinkedIn Learning, and Udemy. If anybody has a library card, a lot of libraries have a relationship with Udemy where you can actually access their course offerings for free. And if you haven't checked it out, definitely have a look at that site. There's an incredible range of courses. And what I really love about Udemy, I'm not affiliated with them. What I really love about Udemy is that the courses are taught by real practitioners. So I remember some years ago when I was very involved in logistics, I was invited to teach a course at a local college. Taking what I was currently doing and imparting it to students. There were a couple of professors in the program. One had been teaching since 1985, had never actually had a job in the workforce outside of academia. Um, and he was teaching a program on how to ready people for jobs in supply chain. What I love about Udemy is that everybody who's putting together a course tends to be, for the most part, a current practitioner in their industries. So you're getting some real current knowledge, some up-to-date information from somebody who's actually in the trenches working in the field. So look at Udemy, Coursera, LinkedIn Learning. There's You don't have to invest 4 years. A lot of these courses and programs can be done in literally hours or a couple of days. So, and they do allow you to beef up your resume to kind of show the reader that you're open to learning, you're coachable, and that you're taking steps to transition to that new field. In terms of social media, and perhaps I'll do a video on this. If you're on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, for personal reasons, you got personal accounts, just go through your accounts and clean them up. I'm sure this isn't required by most people, but a lot of recruiters do look at candidates' social media platforms, and I'll be honest, I've done it, and you'd be incredibly surprised what you find. And a lot of the hiring process is risk management, right? So they want to really explore the candidate in greater detail. Now, nobody was ever asked for their passwords, just what was visible to the public. So just take a look at your your social media platforms, and just make sure that they're conveying the message that you're conveying in your resume. So I think it's going to be a little while before things start to balance out, and we kind of get back to the position we were in, before COVID. In the meantime, really concentrate on what your personal brand is. Update your resume, make it very consistent with your LinkedIn profile, and upskill. If you're needing to transition to a new industry, look at the platforms I mentioned and see what courses and programming you can take. I will be doing a follow-up to this video, a part 2, where there's some other considerations, other things to look at to help you navigate this very challenging job market we're seeing. So stay tuned for the second video, which should be coming in a few days. In the meantime, I would really love it if you could subscribe. It only takes a second. Subscribe to this channel, and give this video a thumbs up if you got some value from it. But really, what I would love to hear are your comments, your thoughts on what you're doing to kind of get through this market we're in, and any tips and advice you have for others. All right, guys. So I'm going to run in for my appointment, and again, any questions, shoot me a comment. And until the next video, take care of yourself.